Hi everybody, I'm back and I've got a new project I want to share with you. So, a few years ago I was walking in my backyard and I noticed that a little ficus tree was starting to take root way up in another tree in my backyard, a Roa Ponciana. And if you know anything about ficus trees, you know that if you let that little tiny tree keep growing, it will eventually take over the host tree, strangle it to death, and kill it. So I had to get it out of there. And the bonus of that is I got myself a new bonsai tree. So I stuck it in the ground in a grow pot and I just pulled it out of the ground and I'm taking a look at it. And I thought I'd share some thoughts with you. The first being, we're going to talk about grow boxes today and choosing a front of your tree and the novel American Gods. So let's get to it. Okay, so got to name the tree, and I'm going to name this tree Whiskey Jack. And you're probably thinking, all right, Robert, here you go again with the drinking, but I'm actually a bourbon guy, not a whiskey guy, just for the record. So the name Whiskey Jack comes from a character in the book American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This book won a bunch of awards. I read it recently on a road trip and I was fascinated with it. Premise of the book is this. So when immigrants have arrived in America over the centuries, they brought with them their gods from the countries they came from. But gods are only as powerful as many people believe in them, and since nowadays nobody really believes in all these ancient gods, their powers are greatly diminished, but they still walk among us. And sadly, they all have become destitute and they work odd jobs working at funeral parlors or being street hustlers or gamblers or alcoholics, but they're still there and they're interesting characters and all this other stuff goes on. No spoilers here. So one of the characters is this Native American guy that lives on a reservation named Whiskey Jack, and he's actually the Native American god Wissikajak, which sounds like Whiskey Jack, and I just thought it was the best name, so I'm naming this tree Whiskey Jack. Bonsai is an art form that's predicated on a whole lot of patience. If you're not a patient person, you're not going to do well at this. So the people that teach me bonsai instill upon me the concept of thinking of your trees in 5-year plans. And look, I know it's fun to shape the tree. You got a new tree, you want to bend the branches with wire, you want to cut off some branches, you want to shape it. So do I. But if you don't sacrifice a few years to allow the tree to grow bigger so it gets a thicker trunk and nabari, then you're going to end up with a twig with some good looking branches on it, and it's not going to have that wow factor that all the awesome bonsai always have. So you're probably asking me, well, Robert, how do I get this nabari? I got 2 words for you. Grow box. And this is how you do it. All you need is some wood and some screws or nails. It's really that simple. You probably have some old wood laying around in your backyard somewhere. Or if you can get a hold of a shipping pallet, that's good wood. Or you can go to one of your big box stores and pick up some wood that looks like this. I think these are like $2 each, so you can get a bunch of them and you're on your way. There really isn't any right or wrong here. You're not going to be showing the tree in this box you're making. You're just making a big container and filling it up with dirt so the tree can really start growing like it would in the wild. But here's the most important part. Drill a bunch of holes in the bottom, because what you want to happen is you want the roots of the tree to eventually grow out of the box and down into the soil in your yard. Leave it there for 3-4 years. And then when you eventually dig it out and you're going to have to cut the roots out from the bottom of it, you're going to have a really nice look and start to a tree. Please be patient. You got to do this. I promise you it's worth it in the end. So after 3 years in a grow pot, I've pulled Whiskey Jack out and we're taking a look. And I'm considering taking this tree from pre-bonsai to bonsai. And there's 2 things to consider. One is what style is this tree going to be? And the second is what is the front of the tree? So I'm not going to discuss styles, but at the end of this video, there's a link to my video discussing the 5 basic styles, and you can go check that out. And Whiskey Jack looks like it wants to be an informal upright, so that's what I've chosen. So here's something interesting. Bonsai have a front. They're designed to be seen from a specific vantage point. And even though bonsai are sculptures, they have a good side and a bad side. And choosing the best side is often based on the trunk's movement and branching. But there's another thing to take into consideration, and it's one that's often overlooked when you're choosing the front of your tree is, how's the nabari look? It's where your eye begins, at the point where the tree touches the soil and goes upwards. So don't you want it to be the best it can possibly be? And you can only figure this out by taking the tree out of the ground or removing a lot of the soil from where the roots are so you can kind of get a look at where the roots are going. And I've decided that this is the best angle for Whiskey Jack, so this is going to be the front. However, I'm going to be even more patient, and I've built a new grow box and I'm putting this tree back into the ground for a couple more years. It kind of sucks because I really want to get to work on it, but I think in the long run I'm going to have a way better tree.